Comfort is the enemy of growth. It sounds simple, maybe even cliché. But it's the one truth most people spend their entire lives running from. Look around you. How many people do you know who are simply comfortable? They're not miserable, they're not starving, they're not collapsing under the weight of extreme suffering. But they're not thriving either. They're not rising. They're not creating, they're not transforming into the person they could become. They're just floating. Living day to day in a numbing loop. Existing, not living. Why? Because comfort is seductive. It's warm, it's familiar. It gives you the illusion of safety. The illusion that you're doing okay simply because nothing's falling apart. But that's the trap, that's the lie. Nothing great was ever built inside a comfort zone. No revolution began with a person who was too afraid to feel discomfort. No world-class athlete, visionary entrepreneur, or legendary creator made history from the safe confines of a good enough. Comfort is where dreams go to die, slowly, silently, without warning. You see, human beings are wired to seek safety. Our ancestors survived because they avoided threats. They took shelter from storms. They stayed close to the fire. They didn't chase the tiger, they ran from it. And that worked for survival. But in today's world, survival is no longer the goal. You're not just here to survive. You're here to rise, to become something more. And for that, the instinct for comfort must be unlearned. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? I don't mean horror movie scared. I mean stepping into a new job when you weren't sure you were ready. Launching that business even though failure was a real risk. Speaking up when your voice trembled. Starting over after everything fell apart. Walking into the unknown with no guarantees, just belief. When was the last time you truly risked rejection, criticism, failure, just to grow? If your answer is a not recently, then you're probably in the comfort zone. And here's the painful part. You'll never know how much of your potential is being wasted until you leave it. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it has a hidden cost, your future. Every day you choose what's familiar over what's challenging. You silently choose to remain where you are. You choose mediocrity. You choose a slow death of your ambition. Because the truth is, everything you want, the next level of your life, lives on the other side of discomfort. Growth is painful by design. Muscles only grow when they're torn. Wisdom only comes through failure. Only comes from repetition, boredom, and brutal feedback. Every single transformation begins the moment you say, I'm done being comfortable. You want to start that business? You'll have to make cold calls that terrify you. You'll face rejection, competition, and self-doubt. How about? You'll question whether you're cut out for it. You'll lose sleep. But if you stay in your comfort zone, you'll never even start. You want to be fit? You'll have to show up when it hurts. Say no to short-term pleasure. Feel the burn. You'll sweat. You'll fall off track. But if you stay in your comfort zone, you'll always say, I'll start Monday. You want to be the best in your craft? You'll need to be the worst in the room first. Be willing to learn. Be willing to suck. Be willing to fall behind. You'll have to stretch yourself in ways that make you want to quit. But if you stay in your comfort zone, you'll always wonder what could have been. See, grace never feels good when it's happening. It feels awkward. It feels raw. It feels raw. It's waking up early when you don't want to. It's facing criticism without shrinking. It's working when no one is watching. It's choosing discipline over distraction. It's letting go of easy things to pursue something better. Most people never grow because they confuse pain with failure. They think if it's hard, it's wrong. They think if it's uncomfortable, it's not for them. So they retreat. They shrink. They give up before the reward even has time to show up. But you're not most people. You're here because something inside you knows there's more. You don't want the average life. You don't want the lukewarm version of yourself. You want the version that's bold, the version that dares, the version that risks. But you will never meet that version of yourself if you keep choosing comfort. That version only shows up when you're tested, when your back is against the wall. When you say, I don't care how scared I am, I'm doing this anyway. Because growth requires courage, not absence of fear, but movement despite fear. So today, take inventory. Ask yourself, where am I playing small? What truth am I avoiding because it's too uncomfortable to face? What a risk have I been putting off because I'd rather feel safe than feel alive? Whatever that is, go to it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, walk into the fire. Chase the fear. Choose discomfort on purpose. Make it your new normal, because every time you do, you expand, you grow, you level up. And eventually you'll look back and realize, the old you, the comfortable you, that was just a shell. The real you, the powerful, capable, relentless version. That one was hiding behind your fear all along, just waiting for you to risk it all. Everything you want in life, everything that truly matters, comes at a price, and that price is a risk. Every dream, every breakthrough, every transformation demands that you put something on the line. Your time, your energy, your pride, your sense of certainty. If you want a reward, you must gamble. That's how the universe works. It doesn't hand out greatness to those who wait patiently. It gives it to the bold, to the ones who step into the unknown with empty hands and a full heart. The ones who say, I know there are no guarantees, and I'm doing it anyway. Think about it. Everything extraordinary. Building a business, creating art, writing a book, chasing love, becoming world-class in any skill. It's all a gamble. There's no promise it will work. There's no safety net waiting underneath you. And that's exactly why so few people ever claim those rewards. Because they're unwilling to risk anything real. But let me tell you something. The people you admire, the ones whose stories inspire you, they aren't braver than you. They just bet bigger. They accepted the gamble, they looked at the odds, they saw the danger, they heard the voices telling them to stop, and they still went all in. Because they understood a simple truth. The bigger the dream, the higher the risk, and the greater the reward. You can't play small and expect a big life. You can't tiptoe toward your future and expect the universe to open the doors for you. It doesn't work like that. You must knock, you must shove, you must break through. And sometimes you must risk falling flat on your face. That's the cost of greatness. Most people are terrified of that cost. They think failure is the worst thing that can happen, but it's not. Do you want to know what's worse than failing? Never trying. Waking up 10 years from now and realizing you lived your entire life inside a box of your own fear. Realizing you never rolled the dice because you were so afraid of losing, you forgot what it meant to win. Let me be brutally honest. If you're not willing to lose something, your comfort, your pride, your image, your perfect plan, then you're not ready to gain anything meaningful either. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't chase your dreams and clutch your fears at the same time. You can't soar and stay grounded. You have to make a choice. And yes, it's a gamble. Yes, you might lose. But if you don't take that shot, you lose by default. The world doesn't owe you success because you want it. It responds to action, to risk, to movement, to momentum. You can read all the books, listen to all the speeches, surround yourself with motivation, but at some point, you've got to put skin in the game. You've got to risk something real. That might mean putting your money into a business idea that might flop. It might mean walking away from a stable job to follow your passion. It might mean being vulnerable with someone when you've been hurt before. It might mean moving to a new city with nothing but a vision and a fire in your chest. Whatever it is, the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Life is a gamble whether you like it or not. Staying in your comfort zone is a risk. Playing it safe is a risk. Waiting for the perfect time is a risk. Because while you're sitting still, the world keeps moving. The world keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Time slips away. Your potential rots in silence. That's the hidden risk most people never talk about. The risk of not acting, of doing nothing, of clinging to a life you don't even love just because you're afraid to roll the dice. But you weren't born to play it safe. You weren't meant to stay small. That fire in your chest? That longing for something more? That's your soul reminding you that you're made for more than just existing. You're made to live, to try, to fail, to real life, to real certainty ends. When you finally accept that there's no perfect path, no guarantees, no promises, only decisions. Bold, messy, terrifying decisions. And that's when you truly start living. When you start making moves, Not because you're sure they'll work, but because you refuse to stay stuck. You want to know the difference between people who win and people who wonder what happened? The winners were willing to look foolish. They were willing to be misunderstood. They were willing to risk rejection. They were willing to bet everything on a vision no one else could see. And maybe they failed. Maybe they got knocked down. Maybe they heard 100 no's. But eventually, after all the pain, all the setbacks, all the doubt, they broke through. because they never stopped betting on themselves. So now the question is, will you? Will you risk the rejection? Will you risk the failure? Will you risk the unknown? Because the truth is, playing it safe guarantees one thing. You'll stay exactly where you are. But risking it all, that's how you move. That's how you grow. That's how you win. Failure, just the word alone, makes people uneasy. It carries weight, shame, fear, regret. It's the shadow most people spend their entire lives running from. They dodge risks. They avoid hard choices. They stay small because deep down they're terrified of one thing, failing. But let me tell you something that will change your life if you let it sink in. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the fuel. Failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher, your mentor, your trainer in the ring. It toughens your skin. It sharpens your instincts. It humbles your ego. It burns away the fluff and leaves behind the real you, the one who's ready to rise. The only way to become the person you're meant to be is to go through failure. Not around it, not over it, through it. But most people have it all backward. They think failure means they're not good enough. That they should stop, retreat, rethink, or worse, never try again. That kind of thinking is poison. Because the truth is, you cannot grow without failing. You can't master anything without falling flat on your face. You can't succeed without stumbling, without being embarrassed, without making mistakes that haunt you at night. And the people who make it, the ones who rise above the noise, the ones you admire and celebrate, they failed more times than most ever tried. You think successful people just got it right the first time? No. They just never let failure define them. They didn't run from it. They used it. Every loss was a lesson. Every misstep was a message. Every setback was set up for a comeback. That's the mindset of a winner. You see, failure introduces you to yourself. It shows you what you're made of. When everything falls apart, when the plan doesn't work, when the world says no, when you get rejected, when you fall short, that's when your true character is revealed. That's when you discover if you're serious or just interested, if you're committed or just curious. Anyone can feel confident when things are going well. Anyone can say they believe in themselves when the path is smooth. What happens when you hit a wall? It's the launch flops. When the critics come. When the support vanishes and the results don't show up. That's where most people quit. That's where most people walk away and never look back. But not you. You're not here to tiptoe through life. You're not here to chase a flawless record. You're here to build something real. To become someone powerful. And that road goes straight through failure. You want greatness? Prepare to fail. To fail. To fail. Over and over, publicly, painfully. And still keep going. Because failure isn't a stop sign. It's a green light. It's the universe asking you, how bad do you want it? Do you want it enough to look stupid? To fall short in front of people? To get laughed at? To feel like you're starting from scratch again and again? If the answer is yes, then congratulations. You're already ahead of 90% of the world, because most people can't take that pressure. Most people fold under that kind of heat. They want the reward without the risk. The victory without the struggle. But that's not how life works. That's not how transformation happens. Think about a blacksmith shaping steel. The fire must be hot. The blows must be hard. That's the only way to forge something strong. And you are the steel. Your failures are the fire. Your pain is the hammer. Every hit is shake here. Every loss is building your resilience. Every bruise is making you be better. But you've got to stay in the fire. You've got to stop seeing failure as the end of the road and start seeing it failure as the end of the road and start seeing it as the middle, as the proving ground. As the workshop where champions are built. Look at the legends. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from the company he founded. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. Yet, Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. These people didn't just fail. They failed spectacularly. And yet they rose. Why? Because they didn't fear failure, studied it. They mined it for every ounce of wisdom and came back swinging harder. You have to do the same. You have to rewire how you think. Every time you fail, don't ask, why me? Ask, what's the lesson? But don't say, I'm not good enough. Say, I'm getting better. Don't run from the pain. Lean into it. Let it sharpen you. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you that you're alive, you're in the game, and you're fighting for something that matters. Because nothing worthwhile comes easy. Nothing real comes without setback. And every time you fall, you have a choice. You can stay down and let the world label you, or you can rise and define yourself. You can say, this isn't where I stop. This is where I build. This is where I level up. This is where I level up. This is where I turn the pain into power. So fail, often. Fail forward, because the more you fail, the closer you get to mastery. The more you lose, the more you learn. And one day, when you're standing on top of the mountain, the world will ask you how you did it. And you'll say, I failed my way to the top. That's what winners do. If you want to do something extraordinary, if you truly want to risk it all in pursuit of a vision that sets your soul on fire, then you must be willing to stand alone. To walk your path without applause. To face silence when you expect support. To keep going when no one claps, no one calls, no one comes to cheer you on. Because the harsh truth is this: the world won't always understand your vision. People won't always see what you see. And if you wait for approval, you'll die waiting. Greatness demands solitude. It demands that you become your own fire, your own source of strength. Your own biggest believer, even when the rest of the world calls you crazy. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, to have your motives questioned, to have people whisper behind your back, laugh at your ambition, doubt your decisions. You have to let them talk and still walk forward. Because chasing a dream isn't a group activity. Most of the time, it's just you and your grind, you and your mission, you and your will to not give up. There will be seasons of loneliness. That's a promise. There will be nights when you wonder if anyone sees the effort you're putting in. Days when no one checks in, when your wins go unnoticed, when your failures feel too heavy to carry alone. But those are the days that define you, that shape you, that sharpen your character into something unbreakable. And the reason most people never make it, the reason they quit before the breakthrough, is because they can't stand that silence. They can't bear walking alone. They need to feel seen. They need to feel celebrated. And when that doesn't happen, they assume they're doing it wrong. But the truth is, silence isn't proof you're failing. It's proof you're ahead. It's proof you're on a path few are brave enough to take. You think the pioneers, the trailblazers, the legends walked into a room full of support and comfort? They walked into two empty spaces, dark halls, and an uncharted territory. They moved forward by faith, by grit, by inner fire. And that fire was built in solitude. You've got to understand, the world only claps once you succeed. They only show up once the story is complete. Until then, they doubt you. They question you. They try to put you in a box because your dream makes them uncomfortable. Your risk reminds them of their own fear. Your courage exposes their complacency. So don't expect them to get it. Don't expect your family to understand why you work late nights chasing a business no one believes in yet. Don't expect your friends to support the uncomfortable changes you make to grow. Don't expect strangers you can grow. Don't expect strangers to rally behind a vision they can't see. That's your job fire. That's your fire. That's your path. And if you keep waiting for someone to walk it with you, you'll miss your moment. You'll waste years trying to drag people with you who were never meant to come. Some journeys require isolation. Some missions require separation. Because to become someone you've never been, you have to walk away from who you were. And that often means walking away from the crowd. Being alone doesn't mean being lost. It means you're forging your own trail. It means you're refusing to conform. It means you've decided that your dream matters more than your comfort, more than approval, more than fitting in. And eventually, if you stay the course, something powerful happens. You stop fearing the silence. You stop craving validation. You start building your own rhythm, your own identity. You realize that the solitude that once felt suffocating is now sacred. It's where you grow. It's where you sharpen your vision. It's where you find out who you really are. Because in the end, the person who can stand alone is unstoppable. They don't need permission to act. They don't wait for applause to move. They don't need a crowd to feel confident. They move because they know who they are and what they're building. And that kind of power, self-generated, self-owned, can't be shaken. So own can't be shaken. So if you feel alone right now, take heart. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just in the part of the story where heroes are made, where warriors are forged, where legends are written. You're building something only you can see. You're carrying a dream only you can build. And that dream is worth the loneliness. It's worth the sacrifice. It's worth the quiet nights and unanswered texts and misunderstood motives. Because when the time comes, when the vision finally comes to life, the world will ask you how you did it. And you'll smile and say, I stood alone until I didn't have to. Because that's the truth. You won't be alone forever. One day, the right people will show up. The ones who see what you see. The ones who match your energy. But until then, don't stop walking. Don't stop building. Don't stop believing. Be willing to stand alone. That's the price. That's the path. That's what it means to truly risk it all. Most people live their entire lives under the illusion of safety. They're taught to seek comfort, to follow the rules, to choose the predictable over the possible. They take the job that doesn't challenge them, stay in the relationship that doesn't fulfill them, repeat the routines that don't grow them. All because it feels safe. But here's the harsh reality. The safe path is the most dangerous one. You think you're protecting yourself by playing it safe, but what you're really doing is gambling with your potential. You're trading away years of your life for something that gives you no spark. No fire, no meaning. You wake up, go through the motions, check the boxes, and slowly, silently you begin to die inside. That's not safety. That's a slow surrender. The truth is, safety is a trap. It's the shiny cage they put you in and tell you to be grateful for. Steady paycheck, a reliable schedule, a comfortable routine. But what they don't tell you is that every second you spend living someone else's definition of security is a second stolen from your greatness. Every moment you choose comfort over courage is a moment where your real life slips further out of reach. Ask yourself, Tony's truly safe about a life unlived. What is secure about wasting your best years doing something you don't love just because it's impractical? What is the reward for playing it small, for fitting in, while staying quiet when everything inside you is screaming to break out? There is no safety in staying where you are not growing. There is only decay. Slow, invisible, undeniable decay. And one day you'll wake up and realize you become a shadow of who you could have been. Not because you weren't talented, not because you weren't capable, but because you were afraid. Afraid of risk, afraid of failure, afraid of standing out, afraid of being seen. But the irony is, the very thing you're afraid of is the only thing you're afraid of is the only thing taking the risk. That's how you find out what you're made of. Stepping into the unknown. That's how you discover the depth of your strength. Choosing the hard path. That's how you build a life worth living. That's how you stop existing and start living. People will try to convince you that the riskier road is reckless. That walking away from a secure job to start something of your own is irresponsible. That following your passion is naive. That dreaming big is unrealistic. But here's the truth they don't understand. Comfort never made anyone legendary. Playing it safe never changed the world. No one wrote history by choosing what was easy. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to settle. You're not here to bury your desires so you can meet someone else's idea of a success. You're here to risk, to rise, to live so boldly, so authentically, that your life becomes proof that courage is always worth it. Every safe choice comes with a hidden cost. It may not show up right away, but it's always there. You pay with regret, with stagnation. With that voice in your head that whispers late at night, this isn't it, and it won't go away. It'll follow you. It'll haunt you. Because deep down you know you were meant for more. But more won't come knocking on your door while you sit in comfort. More demands you get up and move. It demands that you risk embarrassment, judgment, failure, and pain. Because greatness is not handed out. It's earned through discomfort, sacrifice, and raw, unfiltered courage. And you don't need to know the whole path to begin. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a guarantee. You just need the guts to take the first step into uncertainty. That one step changes everything. That one act of defiance against your fear begins a chain reaction that can alter the course of your entire life. So don't be fooled by the glitter of safety. Don't sell your future for a little temporary peace. Don't let comfort seduce you into wasting your one shot at this life. Because the safe path, the one with no risk, no resistance, no rejection, is the one that leads nowhere. It leads to mediocrity, to what ifs, to untapped potential buried beneath excuses. And you are not here to be safe. You are here to set fires, to break patterns, to shatter ceiling, to rise again and again until your life becomes a reflection of the vision that lives inside you. And that will never happen on the safe path. So step off it. Risk it all. Because the cost of a bold life is high, but the cost of a safe life is everything.